In the 5th month of my pregnancy, I saw Honey propose to another woman. Kevin on the large screen looked much like he used to. Back then, to pursue me, he'd declared, I'd only ever be with Grace in this lifetime. Now, to marry his adoptive sister, he said, Tiffany, I'll be good to you for the rest of my life. He was still so sincere, only the recipient of his sincerity had changed. He remained composed when I confronted him. Tiffany is sick, and her one wish is to marry me. What about me? I asked, stroking my belly, trying to appeal to Kevin. But he coldly replied, go back to your parents' place for now, I'll get back with you later. Before I could say anything, Tiffany appeared. She pushed me down, then feigned injury, saying, Grace, I just want Kevin to be with me for what little time I have left. Please don't make me leave. Seeing this, Kevin's first reaction wasn't concern for me or the baby, but to shield Tiffany. He glared at me menacingly and said, Grace, don't be so damn self-important. You should be grateful I'd even consider getting back with you. Who else would want you? Only then did I realize how little I truly mattered to him. That same day, we finalized our divorce. He then promised me he would come back for me and the child. But I didn't know the child was already gone. 5 years passed in a blink. When I saw Kevin again, I was holding my son and talking to another man. He completely lost it. Grace, you're sleeping around with another man, and you brought my son along? Grace, you cheated? And you brought my son along? Kevin screamed, looking at me hysterically. His eyes were bloodshot, as if he wanted to devour me. My friend beside me noticed something was off and tried to make a call, but I stopped her. I knew who he wanted to contact, but I'm no pushover. Since the person before me was an old acquaintance, I knew I could handle him. I'm fine, you go on ahead. I can handle this, I said, my gaze firm, dismissing my friend. Thou. He was worried. I ultimately sent him away, but blocked his path. Who exactly are you? Kevin, stop acting insane. Unable to tolerate it any longer, I stepped forward and slapped Kevin directly. He was stunned by my slap and forgot everything else. By the time he came to his senses, my friend was already gone. Kevin looked at me nervously. It's been 5 years, you hid from me for 5 years? Is it because of that man just now? Meeting's questioning gaze, I felt a little helpless. He knew it had been 5 years. We've been divorced for 5 years. Who I'm with has nothing to do with him, does it? Kevin, we're already divorced. But you know, that was all fake. At that, I couldn't help but laugh. A divorce certificate, issued by the county clerk's office after a month-long wait, was fake? The staff at the county clerk's office would be furious if they heard him say that. I stared coldly at Kevin. He looked guilty under my gaze, and his voice unconsciously lowered. You know I divorced you for Tiffany back then. Didn't I tell you to go back to your parents' place for a while? Why did you just disappear? You know, Kevin looked at me, hesitating to speak. In that moment, a layer of grievance appeared in his eyes, as if no one knew the suffering he'd endured all these years. Do you know how many years I've been looking for you? As he said this, Kevin's eyes were filled with the joy of finding something lost. Suddenly, Tiffany's sickly sweet voice approached from a distance. Honey, I'm all better. The words snapped me back to reality. I couldn't be fooled by Kevin again, he wasn't worth it. Tiffany quickly reached me. She seemed not to have expected to see me, and her face instantly turned pale. Before she could speak, I seized the initiative. What, didn't you say you wouldn't live more than half a year back then? That's a pretty long half year you've had, isn't it? Hearing the sarcasm in my words, Tiffany looked at Kevin plaintively. Honey, is Grace still blaming me? Should I even be alive? As she spoke, tears streamed down Tiffany's face. These instant tears were as if she had a switch. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Tiffany then cried even more miserably. Kevin couldn't stand it. His adoptive sister was upset, and he was about to step forward to defend her. I took a step back, narrowly avoiding a slap. Grace, it's been years. How did you become so bitter? Isn't it a good thing that Tiffany is still alive? A good thing? What, am I supposed to thank the woman who stole my honey and killed my child? I sneered. Kevin, I'm not going to dwell on what you two did back then, so just stay out of my sight. Dropping those words, I picked up my son and prepared to leave, but wouldn't let up. I just found you after all this time, where are you going now? Kevin grabbed me, not letting me leave. I ignored him, only looking at Tiffany. Are you sure you want your honey to drag me like this in the street? Grace, my honey just wants to explain. Back then, I barely escaped death, but thankfully my honey found a renowned doctor who saved me. What a coincidence. Such an absurd excuse, of course, I didn't believe it. But not only believed it, he was utterly convinced. So, I wish you both a long and happy life together. I smiled at Tiffany. As a woman, she knew the meaning behind my smile. In an instant, Tiffany clutched her chest. Honey, my chest feels uncomfortable. I wonder if it's because Grace is angry. That's why don't bother with her. A woman like you is just high maintenance and dramatic. Kevin comforted Tiffany, then threw me a dismissive glance as if it were a great favor. Looking at your clothes, I guess you're not doing so well now, are you? How about you give me your address later, and I'll pick you up after I'm done with work tonight. Not doing well? I instinctively glanced down at my custom-made clothes. Did they look cheap? This outfit alone could buy Kevin's mansion. How could his taste have gotten so bad? No need to trouble Kevin. Maya and I have a great relationship. Our family of 3 won't be separated. That guy just now? Kevin burst out laughing as if he'd thought of a joke. Grace, you were with me, for crying out loud. How can you stoop to a man like that now? How embarrassing. Are you intentionally trying to make me look like a fool? Kevin wanted to say more, but Tiffany urged him to leave. Honey, Liam and Grace are arriving soon. Let's go over first, and then we can properly explain to Grace later. All right. Kevin said no more, turning to instruct me, wait for me to pick you up. With that, he turned and left. Watching rush off, I walked away with my son without looking back. After a couple of steps, my son wanted to get down and walk by himself, muttering as he went, "Was that guy your ex-husband?" I nodded. My son tooted, "Compared to my dad, your current honey, he's way worse." I looked down at my son's face, identical to my honey's, and couldn't help but marvel at the power of genetics. My son and my honey were so alike that if Kevin had taken a second look at my son, he wouldn't have thought he was his own. It was a shame that no matter how many years passed, this man remained so arrogant. After shopping, my son and I returned to the hotel. But in less than half an hour, I was informed that my son was missing. My son was clearly playing right here. How could you have let this happen? You said you'd watch him, that's why I left him with you. Are you trying to shirk responsibility now? I couldn't help but scold the hotel management. Their faces were covered in sweat, and they kept apologizing to me. Grace, please don't worry. Our people are already out searching. Leo certainly hasn't left the hotel. It better be. The hotel staff reviewed the surveillance footage, confirming my son hadn't left the hotel, and they had now dispatched more personnel to all hotel entrances and exits. I felt a little relieved. As I searched for my son with the hotel staff, I also contacted my honey. He was still in a meeting and hadn't replied to my message, but Alex called first. Madam, Liam's meeting is closed door, so he can't see his phone right now. I'm heading to the hotel immediately. Okay. Alex was always decisive and efficient. Having him on the way made me feel more at ease. A welcome reception was being held in the hotel's ballroom. I knew it was being held to welcome our family of 3. My son wanted to come, but I didn't. That's why I took him out for a walk. Now that he was missing, I guessed he might have come here. But as soon as I arrived, I was pulled outside the ballroom by an unseen force. What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you to send me your address? I didn't tell you to come looking for me. Aren't you ashamed? Kevin looked at me with disgust. After saying this, he cautiously looked around, as if terrified someone might see me. Seeing that no one had noticed me, he breathed a slight sigh of relief, then lowered his voice and continued to scold. Today, I'm hosting Liam and Grace here. Can you please not cause any trouble? You should know that Grace isn't as easy to deal with as Tiffany. If you offend her, I definitely won't protect you. Hearing this, I couldn't hold back anymore. I looked at Kevin as if he were an idiot. Are you insane? Where I go is none of your business, is it? I tried to shake Kevin off, but he held on so tightly I couldn't break free. I gritted my teeth, looking at Kevin. Let go. Grace, you just said you wouldn't leave with me, but now you've chased after me. What does this mean? I'm not here for you. I'm here for my son right now. Where's my son? What kind of mother are you? You lost my son? Kevin suddenly grew angry. He scanned the crowd, found no one, then glared at me. I'm telling you, if you really can't take care of him, just let Tiffany be his slap. My once said, when you can no longer tolerate it, there's no need to endure further. I immediately slapped Kevin across the face. My son. Who was he to give him to Tiffany? He's absolutely insane. You hit me? Grace, are you crazy? Do you really think I wouldn't dare touch you? Let me tell you, Kevin, I cut ties with you 5 years ago. If you don't want to die, then get lost. I shook Kevin off and continued toward the ballroom. I was certain my son was here, as I had searched everywhere else. Tiffany appeared then with a few women. As luck would have it, I actually knew all of them. Back when Kevin and I were together, I often socialized with them. But now, they were all watching me with a look of amusement, instead flattering Tiffany with fake politeness. Mrs. Liu, isn't this your honey's ex-wife? Did she know you were hosting Liam here and come to cause trouble? I'm telling you, Grace, why are you still so oblivious to social cues, just like before? Do you really think this is a place you should be? Exactly. If I were you, I'd have found a hole to crawl into by now. The women spoke over each other, all of their words dripping with sarcasm. Yet, they had been extremely respectful towards me back then. How quickly allegiances change. I sneered at them, you're here to beg Liam for a partnership, yet you don't even recognize Liam's wife? What kind of partnership are you hoping for? I rarely used foul language, but facing these people, I truly couldn't help myself. What? You're not going to say you're Liam's wife, are you? Why not? I decided to lay my cards on the table, but to my surprise, they burst into even louder laughter. Ha ha ha, did you hear that? That's the biggest joke I've ever heard in my life. The women doubled over with laughter. It was at this moment that Kevin approached. Only this time, he didn't try to persuade me to leave, instead, he automatically sided with Tiffany. Half an hour ago, he was still pretending to be deeply affectionate, saying he'd been looking for me for 5 years. And now? Not look. ING anymore? Grace, what are you doing? Who told you to impersonate Grace? Are you trying to get me killed? Kevin nervously explained to the women, I apologize, my ex-wife suffers from delusions. She always thinks she's some wealthy madam, otherwise, I wouldn't have divorced her in the first place. But she is my ex-wife, after all, so please, everyone, don't spread this around. It wouldn't be good if Liam found out. Kevin's speech earned him widespread approval. Everyone present was saying he and Tiffany were good people, and I was a scoundrel. Kevin seemed to have forgotten that he only married Tiffany initially because it was her dying wish. Now they were putting on a show of being a deeply devoted couple. I couldn't be bothered to expose him and planned to continue looking for my son. But they still wouldn't let me pass. Just then, a voice came from not far away. I recognized it instantly, it was my son's voice. He was playing with a few other boys, when one chubby boy inexplicably pushed my son down. What are you doing? Maya and I cherished our son like our lives, so naturally, I wouldn't allow anyone to bully him like that, not even other children. I rushed forward, scooped up my son, then questioned the chubby boy, how could you just push someone? He wouldn't give me his toy. My toy is mine, I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What right do you have to hit me? My son retorted, not to be outdone. I was very pleased with my son's reply, so I smiled at him. That's great, are you okay? Mommy, I'm fine. I came to find Dad. Dad's still in a meeting. Shall we go back to the room first? Hearing that Dad wasn't there, my son looked a little disappointed but still nodded obediently. Were you just disciplining my son? The moment I turned, I faced a woman roughly the same build as the chubby boy. The mother and son certainly looked alike. I watched her warily. Your son started it. Even so, you can't bully my son. I didn't bully your son, slap. Before I could finish speaking, the woman slapped me. Then she ordered the security personnel to pull my son from my arms and slapped him twice more. You little brat dares to bully my son? I'll show you who you're dealing with. I'm telling you, my honey is Liam's most trusted man. If you provoke our family, you won't have an easy time of it. It all happened too suddenly, I had no time to think. It wasn't until my son crawled to me, crying, that I snapped back to reality. My's most trusted man? Who was that? How could I not remember anyone close to him having a wife like this? Eleanor, don't be angry. Don't stoop to her level. It was Tiffany. She diligently linked arms with Eleanor. This is my honey's ex-wife. She came here with her child to seek refuge with my honey, so please don't bother with someone like her. Kevin's ex-wife? Eleanor instinctively looked at Kevin, and was looking at me with heartache. But in just a second, his gaze returned to indifference. My apologies, Eleanor, my ex-wife has disturbed you. I'll have them taken away immediately. Wait. Seeing the security personnel about to take us away, Eleanor smiled mischievously. I see this woman raised a little bastard. It looks like she probably hasn't been shy about seducing men in her daily life, so, she paused briefly, then looked at Kevin. So, Kevin, if you strip off her clothes, I'll have my honey connect you with Liam, and Shin will partner with your Lou. Really? In that instant, I saw Kevin's eyes light up. Eleanor nodded. Of course. Kevin didn't even consider refusing, he agreed immediately. Okay. He then half knelt before me, looking conflicted. Grace, don't blame me. As long as I can partner with Shen, I'll compensate you and your son later. You're full of crap. I already told you he's not your son. Don't you dare touch me. If you even think about it, I promise you won't just lose the partnership with Shen, you'll also. Before I could finish, Tiffany stepped forward and started tearing at my clothes. Seeing me struggle, Kevin also joined in. He pulled my arm, making it easier for Tiffany to rip off my clothes. Seeing this, my son immediately shielded me with his small body. Let go of my mommy. You bad people, I'll definitely have my dad teach you a lesson. But with the overwhelming difference in strength, my son and I were no match for them. Soon, my clothes were torn. In the chaos, my son was pushed down. In an instant, blood streamed down my son's cheek. Leo, mommy, it hurts so much. My son was terrified of blood. Seeing it, he burst into wails. Eleanor and the others froze for a moment, their eyes flashing with panic before turning sinister. They found my son noisy and started hitting him again. Pinned to the ground, I could only scream at them, I am Liam's wife. This is Liam's son. Do you have a death wish? At my words, everyone around instantly stopped what they were doing. Tiffany's eyes darted around, then she looked at Kevin with disappointment. Honey, is Grace crazy? Why is she still claiming to be Liam's wife? If's real wife heard this, wouldn't it reflect badly on you? At that, Kevin's previously flustered gaze instantly turned malicious. He gritted his teeth. Grace, are you trying to get me killed? Eleanor, Liam is arriving soon. I'll take her away now to avoid any bad luck. Kevin waved his hand, and the security personnel stepped forward to grab me. Don't touch me. I glared at them furiously, and the security personnel recoiled from my gaze. Seeing that they didn't dare to act, Kevin simply came forward himself. He gripped my neck tightly. Grace, I told you I'd compensate you. Why do you insist on causing all this trouble? Seeing me being choked, Leo bravely struggled to his feet and hit Kevin's leg. Bad man, let go of my mommy. Gasping for air, I watched as Kevin kicked my son. Leo's current state was so pathetic, it caused everyone around to burst into laughter. I looked at each and every one of those faces, committing them all to memory. I thought to myself, none of these people would ever get to partner with Shen. Let go of my mommy. Bad man, let go of my mommy. Leo tried to bite Kevin, but Tiffany pulled him up. You little bastard, why are you so evil? You want to hit my honey? No way. Tiffany flashed me an evil grin and then directly threw Leo into the nearby swimming pool. Watching disappear under the water, I, too, found myself unable to breathe. Kevin looked at me with disgust. Grace, this is the great son you raised. In that moment, I felt like dying. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the air. Everyone turned to look, only to see the ballroom doors being pushed open. Immediately after, Liam appeared, surrounded by a group of bodyguards. Someone shouted, "It's Liam." Instantly, Kevin's eyes lit up. He immediately dropped me, bending over as he walked towards Liam. But before he could even stand straight, he was kicked away. You hit my wife? Liam, my son. I struggled, looking towards the swimming pool. Before I could finish, Liam's expression drastically changed. But before he could do anything, Kevin jumped into the pool first. Soon, Leo was pulled out, and I instantly breathed a sigh of relief. Leo saw me and cried even harder. Mommy. My son and I, ignoring everyone else, just held each other tightly. Liam quickly knelt before my son and me, his eyes full of guilt. I'm so sorry, wife. If I had known something would happen to you too, I would never have attended that meeting. Alex also arrived then with the hotel's security personnel. My apologies, madam. Liam, my apologies. This is my ex-wife, she's mentally ill. Just ignore her. Kevin must have had water in his brain, he completely missed what Liam had just said. He presumptuously positioned himself between Liam and me. Those around who had heard Liam call me his wife gasped when they heard Kevin speak like that, especially Eleanor, who collapsed onto the floor. Kevin wanted to say more, but Tiffany also came over. Honey, her eyes were filled with disbelief. I knew she couldn't believe Liam was with me. She looked at me, her eyes darting, and a calculating glint instantly appeared. Grace, does Grace know about your relationship with Liam? She leaned closer to me. At this point, only the four of us could hear what she said. Aunt's already grim face now turned black as coal. Seeing he was about to explode, I shot him a glance, and he instantly behaved himself. I wanted to see what other tricks Tiffany had up her sleeve. No one around dared to warn these two idiots, letting them slander me right in front of my honey. They even claimed my son, Leo, was illegitimate. Liam, my ex-wife and my son have disturbed you. I handled this improperly, and I hope you're not angry. Kevin presumptuously apologized to Liam. Tiffany smiled even more triumphantly. Liam, I don't think Grace is aware of Grace's existence. Don't worry, we'll help you cover it up. As long as you partner with our Lou, none of this will be a problem. Facing self-important eyes, I nearly couldn't help but laugh. Who gave her the courage to assume I was Liam's mistress? Hearing this, Liam instinctively looked at me. I understood the trembling in his eyes. To outsiders, Liam was the lofty CEO of Shin, but in front of me, he was a total puppy dog boyfriend. His favorite thing to do was to act spoiled with me. Even my son couldn't stand to watch these things anymore. He often said, "Dad, I'm the one who should be acting spoiled, not you." But retorted, "My spoiling my wife, what does that have to do with you?" Yes, my son and my honey constantly quarreled over who got to be next to me. I had long grown used to it. Yes, Liam, don't worry, I'll handle all of this. After all, Grace is my ex-wife, Kevin added, a look of self-importance on his face that I truly couldn't stand. But before I could speak, Leo rolled his eyes. Don't talk nonsense. My and Mom are very loving. Then grabbed my hand and placed it in Liam's. Dad, what are you doing? Can't you see this man bullying Mom and me? Leo looked at Liam with dissatisfaction. Liam looked at me, as if asking for help. I nodded, and his eyes immediately darkened as he looked at Kevin. You hosted this banquet tonight? Kevin was still reeling from what Leo had just said. He looked at Liam in terror and nodded. Liam nodded thoughtfully, then looked at Alex. Pass down the order, Shin will never partner with Lou again, and anyone who partners with Lou shouldn't even think about partnering with Shin. At his words, everyone around gasped. Why? Liam, are you insane? You're cutting ties with our Lou for this mistress? Aren't you afraid I'll tell Grace? Tiffany still didn't believe that I was Grace. I slapped Tiffany across the face. 5 years ago, she feigned illness to trick Kevin away from me. 5 years later, she was framing me as a mistress. I thought to myself, this woman truly brought out the worst in me. I put all my strength into that slap. I could feel my arm trembling. Tiffany was completely stunned by the blow, swaying precariously and almost falling. It was Kevin who caught her. Tiffany, are you okay? Honey, I don't feel well. I think my illness might be recurring. Do you think Grace just doesn't want me to live? Shut up. Liam glared at her fiercely, then looked at Kevin. Now take this bitch and get out of my sight immediately, or I swear I'll kill you both. Liam, are you sure you want to do this? Kevin looked at Liam with a disappointed expression. This amused Liam. What, you're trying to threaten me now? Then don't blame me for exposing your relationship with Grace. Go ahead, expose it now. Liam was no longer in a hurry to drive Kevin away. He forced him to immediately post about Liam's relationship with me. He posted, Shin CEO Liam cheated with my ex-wife Grace. I can't stand it anymore. I must clear Grace's name. The post was accompanied by a PH photo of Liam and me. Liam, you forced my hand. I know you've been deceived by Grace. Kevin spoke while looking at the updates on his phone. At that moment, a statement appeared on the trending topics. Shin's latest. Our boss and his wife are very much in love. The post was accompanied by Liam and my marriage certificate photo. Kevin clicked on the news and saw the content. He looked at me, utterly lost. Grace, are you really married to Liam? Are you really Grace? Tiffany, still nestled in Kevin's arms, was the first to shriek. Impossible. How could a woman like her be so lucky? Tiffany also saw the trending topics on her phone. She immediately collapsed onto the ground, and wasn't doing much better. Both of them looked at me in unison. I had recovered some strength by now, and I smiled at the two of them. My apologies for disappointing you. I am Grace. Leo is Liam's and my son. Kevin and I indeed had a marriage, but this ex-husband of mine divorced me because his adoptive sister, on her supposed deathbed, wanted to marry him. And that adoptive sister, who was said to have only 6 months to live, lived for 5 years afterward. It's a medical miracle, isn't it? I looked at the people before me with cold sarcasm. The surrounding people burst into laughter. Wow, so Kevin is really like that. I never thought Kevin would be in love with his adoptive sister. I always thought there was something fishy about Kevin divorcing Grace back then. He claimed Grace was immoral. Wasn't that just pure slander? These voices instantly drowned out Kevin and Tiffany, especially, whose face was extremely grim, continuously urging Kevin to respond, but seemed to have turned into an idiot, just staring at me. Kevin, say something. Tiffany roared, and only then did Kevin snap back to reality. Meeting's furious gaze, Kevin looked at her, then around, and suddenly lost all enthusiasm. What is there to say? Isn't this the truth? Do Do you still have feelings for Grak? Kevin, we've been married for 5 years, and this is how you treat me. Oh? Kevin wasn't stupid after all. So, he knew everything all along. But that's not what he was saying just now. This man was truly a refined opportunist. He said whatever benefited him. Now he was acting as if he had been deceived by Tiffany. Tiffany seemed to understand Kevin's intention, and she instantly smiled. Her laughter grew wilder and wilder, until finally she said, Kevin, you're not a man at all. Watching their infighting, I couldn't have felt more satisfied. I knew there was nothing more for us to say now that things had escalated this far. Liam took Leo and me and left. Alex didn't forget to ask Eleanor, are you Thomas's wife? Eleanor nodded vigorously, but sneered, tell your honey he's fired. As and I left, Eleanor let out a pig-like shriek. Stepping out of the ballroom, Liam told Alex, every single person present in there, Shin is terminating all cooperation with them. Yes, sir. I didn't stop Liam's actions. I knew Shin's influence, even without these people, Shin would still thrive. I also knew Liam was doing this for me and my son, but he still felt it wasn't enough. After we returned, he not only had Kevin blacklisted but also exposed a series of Tiffany's information. She was quite something, yet was completely wrapped around her finger. I had already obtained this information long ago. Originally, I wanted to give it to Kevin, but at the time, I said, Tiffany isn't a good person. Kevin slapped me, saying, even if she were dirt, I'd still love her. So, I said no more and left that piece of dirt to Kevin. Now it was time for him to face the repercussions. Tiffany had maintained improper relationships with several older men for years, even having children with some of them. She even filmed many videos with some of these older men, selling them on certain online platforms abroad. She wasn't short on money, she just enjoyed it. This series of exposures instantly sent Lou to the top of the trending topics. In less than half a month, Lou declared bankruptcy. During this time, Kevin kept trying to contact me. At first, he interrogated me, you remarried and brought my son with you, did you get my permission? I replied, Leo isn't your son. He's 3 years old. At first, Kevin didn't believe it. Later, Liam exposed my birth records with the caption, my wife, my son. Certain people don't have the audacity to claim him. He directly tagged Kevin. It was a painfully public humiliation. With corporations' bankruptcy on top of that, Kevin was now infamous. But none of that had anything to do with me anymore. Kevin still messaged me every day. I hadn't blocked him because he never told me how he planned to get revenge on Tiffany. After all, a man purely driven by profit like him, having been so badly harmed by Tiffany, wouldn't possibly not seek revenge. But I waited and waited, only to see a hypocritical man trying to win me back to help him make a comeback. Just when I thought I wouldn't wait for Kevin to get revenge on Tiffany and decided to do it myself, he sent me a message, Grace, aren't you still upset about me marrying Tiffany back then? Don't worry, I've already killed her. Now is no longer an issue between us. As long as you come back, we'll take Liam's money, and we'll be the richest people in the world. These delusional ramblings were truly sickening. As a law-abiding citizen, knowing someone had been killed, I naturally chose to report it to the police immediately. Soon, Kevin was taken away by the police. At first, I thought Kevin was just blowing off steam, but I never expected the police to actually confirm it. The police statement said, Kevin brutally murdered Tiffany out of resentment, dismembering her, and was sentenced to death. Death penalty. He deserved it. Before his execution, Kevin had someone from the state prison contact me, wanting to see me. I only had the state prison staff relay one message. He deserved to die. Marrying him was the biggest regret of my life. As for whether Kevin was provoked by me, I don't know. In any case, he died. After the bothersome person died, my life returned to peace. Leo now goes to preschool every day, and I also have demanding work to keep me busy. On the contrary, Liam chases after me every day, asking, wife, are you busy today? If not, could you have dinner with me? Honey, our anniversary is coming up soon. What are you planning to get me? I'm going to get you a piece of the cosmos. I thought Liam was just kidding, but he actually did it. He bought a newly discovered star for an exorbitant price and named it after me. Leo said, Dad, I want one too. Liam rolled his eyes. When you're grown up, have your wife buy you one. But I'm your son. Yeah, you're my son, but you're not the one I'd buy that for. Why are you asking me? Even now, Liam still gets jealous of Leo. He always felt that I paid less attention to him because Leo was around, and had to put up with all of this from a young age. But the good thing was that it taught him that loving couples value each other above all else. Later, When Leo grew up and got a girlfriend, he was exceptionally good to her. After they got married, Liam handed the company over to Leo. He said, "As my son, this is your duty to uphold." Leo didn't want to take over the company, but Liam left the business and took me on a world tour. Leo had no choice but to step up. Every day, he would criticize Liam's irresponsible behavior in the family group chat, even saying, "Mom, look at the great husband you chose, he's so irresponsible." Liam turned a deaf ear to all of it. He just happily followed me around every day. These days lasted for a very long time, so long that I almost forgot how far we had come. When he was 80, Liam asked me, "Grace, if there's a next life, will you still choose me?" I said yes. At that moment, I suddenly thought of our first meeting. Liam fell in love with me at first sight. He said, "All beautiful love stories begin with being smitten by someone's looks." He added, "And I'm no exception with you." Later, to reassure me, he gave me all his assets. He said, "I love your looks, but my capital is now you, so I'm your accessory now." He said it so casually, but it truly brought me great comfort. I thought, having lived this life and met such a person, it was enough. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.